So a bit about myself. I started my career in fiber optics. So I saw my father take computers in his industry all the way to the home in an amazing way. It transformed our lives. And so I transferred from the fiber side of the business to the laser side of the business. And this was amazing. We got into some cool technology and how to make them. And this revolutionized the internet. The internet wouldn't be possible without this. So I started my first company called Summonex Corporation. And this company started right where Dr. Hadley lives, right? In her market of professional lasers. But with semiconductor lasers, we can basically give you any wavelength you want. So for the first time, biologists and scientists could say, all right, to interact with tissue on this ailment, I need this wavelength to perfectly interact with it. And with semiconductor laser, we give you the exact wavelength, which was groundbreaking. We also made chips for the military. This is munitions targeting. For space navigation, this is docking with the ISS. And for laser radar, which isn't out yet, but it's coming. We took these big gas and crystal lasers and we made them laptop size for Dr. King and her colleagues. But I don't see anybody doing this. They want to basically have perfect skin. They want 25-year-old skin forever. Don't we all want that? So how do we get there? That's the question. Let's first just review what's currently out there, and then I'm going to take you into the future. LEDs, we all know about them. We've seen them. They're everywhere, from low price to some crazy prices. Unfortunately, the meta-analysis of all the clinical studies where you have blinded reviewers shows this. On white LEDs, the blinded reviewer can't tell young skin from old skin. The anti-aging it's a toss-up. And red light, which is a lot of hype about red light, it's the same. What we see in this industry, there's a lot of self-reporting. People use it for a while and say, oh, my skin glows, I feel this. But there's a confirmation bias there, okay? But there's not a lot of science on true anti-aging with LEDs. So let's look at microcurrent. There's a messy gel you put on and you roll this device around for 10, 15 minutes. You have to do that every day. It tightens not your skin, but really your muscles around. And this is what the output looks like, all right? It's a little bit more toned. I can't see a huge difference. I wouldn't get really excited about this myself. But the problem is you got to do it every day to maintain this kind of result. So it's very high maintenance. If we go to microneedling, now we're getting into some technology that actually does work and rejuvenate the skin. You're literally stabbing your skin with these little fine needles, and you can have some erythema and redness and even some bleeding. This shows kind of the worst case, but I think it's a little barbaric, if you ask me. And a lot of people don't want to go under literally the needle like this, right? There's got to be something better. So let's move on to radio frequency. So this is getting popular, and it's used in both professional settings and home settings. There's a couple things, though, that aren't the greatest. First, you got to put the sticky gel on. And then the worst part about this is it's not selective. So when you shoot radio frequency, it's not absorbing anything specific, and it spreads out wide and goes deep. And so to get enough energy where you want it, which is the dermis, that's where the active skin of interest is, you gotta spend a lot of time. So they recommend 10, 15, 20, even 30 minutes of doing that process of treating your skin with RF. So it's really not a great user experience. The results are okay, they're solid, but they're not as good as this other technology. Can anybody guess what that is? Lasers, let's talk lasers, all right? So with lasers, I'm gonna show you the best-in-class laser technology. It's done very precisely so that you don't go too deep, but you basically strip away all your epidermis, you go into the dermis, and you basically stimulate a massive reaction to rebuild your skin from scratch, literally. This is what it looks like after the treatment. Now, it actually looks worse than it really is. There's some topical ointment on there, but it's a multi-month recovery period. So a lot of downtime, but look at these results. So these deep set wrinkles, right? Look at it, they're gone. I mean, this is decades of skin aging that's turned back with one treatment. Can you imagine? This is life-changing. And it gets better. Look at the tone as well as the texture here. All right? And then these are really hard. The smile lines, the smoker's lines, and they're virtually gone with one treatment. So what this says with such amazing results, I mean, I don't think you'd recognize the person before and after. You'd say, like, what have you done? This is amazing, right? The industry on the professional level, they said, look, 2 to 3, 4 months downtime is too much. And blasting off your entire skin, it's too much. There's got to be a better way. So they came up with fractional. You can see she's squinting here with her eyes. She doesn't go fully under anesthesia. There's local anesthesia, so she can feel a bit of this. But that's safer to do it that way and quicker to do it that way. And you know, notice it's not ablative, so it's not frying off the skin. There's no vacuum tube or anything to take the debris away. But it's making these little dots in the skin. And what that's doing, it's denaturing a whole column of cells in the skin and basically destroying that cell, that column of cells. And then the healthy cell around it will help it heal quick. So you're literally turning over your skin in a different way. And you do this over several months. And with a randomized dot configuration, you end up turning over your whole skin. Instead of months of downtime, you've got a few days to a few weeks of downtime. So it's much better than the previous one. And the results are good, but you have to do more treatments to get to that end result. The fractional lasers then came out in home version. So unfortunately, there's still redness and still some pain associated with this. So what happened was it was easy and fast and effective, but it was painful, it was red, and it was expensive. So it had a few detractors, but it worked. But what do you think happened? So we saw what happened here. Everybody loves their cell phone. Is there anyone without a cell phone? I would bet $100. I'll give $100 to anybody without a cell phone. See? That's how much we need our cell phones, right? When you think of beauty devices, I bet there's maybe one, if I'm lucky, person with a laser that uses it regularly in this room, right? It's not mass market, right? Because it didn't happen. And the reason why it didn't happen, anybody guess? It's just you need a good user experience, right? If people don't love using it, people like you like using that cell phone. Admit it, right? We all admit it. Some of us are addicted to it, right? So you gotta love using it. So I looked at the skin, and normal skin temperature is down here around 31 degrees C. Heat shock protein kicks in, and this is well understood. Dr. King can tell you all about this. It kicks in around 39 C. 45 C, you get pain, and 55 C, you get what's called necrosis, which is the cell basically disintegrates. It dies, okay? It just can't take the stress, can't take the heat, literally. But what I saw is there's an interesting area here where if we can work in this zone with heat, we'll stimulate this heat shock protein, but we won't get the pain, we won't get erythema or redness, we won't destroy the skin, we won't even damage the skin, but we turn on the mechanism that could renew your skin. Wouldn't that be cool? We postulated and we developed a technology that I'll show you. This is fractional. It zips right up to necrosis and down with those little dots. And we said, what if we could just gently raise the temperature of the dermis? We can stimulate the heat shock protein, which we want, but not have any of the side effects. This is a comparison of the professional fractional, which is kind of state of the art if you want anti-aging, to really turn back the clock and not spend 3 months, hiding in a closet, right? But they give a massive dose of 18 joules per centimeter squared of laser light in each of those little dots. And then after about a month, you go back, you get another treatment. You do that for 3 to 6 months. And after that, you're looking great, okay? And it works really well. NIRA, on the other hand, gives just 3 joules per centimeter squared, but it's enough to get over that threshold where you're generating heat shock protein. It's that gentle heat, and it's below the point where you feel pain, so it's an enjoyable process. The fact that we're not blasting a lot of energy, we just spread it out over the month. And not only that, we get many times the amount of energy this is how we can get the results and avoid the side effects. What we have is an easy, fast, effective, pain-free, redness-free, and inexpensive laser. So these are the results, before and after. Can anybody tell the before from the after? Okay. You don't need a microscope? No? All right. And so our customers started with the eyes, but then started treating everywhere, which was amazing. We saw some of these amazing results. And with the Pro we launched a couple years ago, they started treating outside of what we said it was for the face. Started treating the neck, their chest, their back of their hands, with amazing results. They're seeing age spots disappear, wrinkles around the neck disappear, tightening of skin, and more. And the chest area actually is a big deal, for a lot of older women. It's just common that it just gets a lot of damage there. And turning back the clock on this is huge, absolutely huge. All right, so how does NIRA work? You treat yourself with the laser. It feels great. When you treat, as long as you feel warmth, this is what happens. Heat shock proteins are generated, right? You get above where that graph was. And there's actually multiple heat shock proteins. You got heat shock protein 70, which not only inhibits cell death, so it says, all right, don't die, cell, gives it the support it needs. But look at the second bullet point. It literally delays aging. So even young people, don't you want to delay aging? You want to look awesome like you do forever, right? So this is scientifically proven to do that. It also protects against thermal and oxidative stress, as well as supports protein synthesis. You know what the number one protein in our body is? Collagen, right? And it's number one component of our skin. It's what makes us look young and vibrant, right? We want more of it. And this is protein. It's actually a chaperone, which is a cool term. It kind of helps along, says, all right, skin, you got to do your job. But 47 protein, heat shock protein 47, actually stimulates type 1 and type 2 collagen. And it is essential. So this one's actually needed. And part of what happens, sorry to say, after about your mid-20s, you start losing collagen. You are maximized if you do nothing else. At about 1% a year is what they claim. So you can imagine in 20 years after that, you've lost 20% of your collagen, right? But you stimulate this, it's going to make you new collagen, right? So it can reverse that process. Now, heat shock protein 27 is when you really aggressively heat to the point of necrosis. We don't do that with NIRA, but I put that there. Some of the other laser techniques actually get into that. And that's basically an all-out alert to help save as many cells as you can. All right, so that heat shock protein stimulates fibroblasts, and that builds new collagen, and then that basically renews your skin from the inside out. You literally have new skin. All right, so there is hope. And in fact, we've done clinical studies at NIRA where we did all sorts of ages, all the way up to, I think, people in the low 80s. And we were like, should we enroll people that old? Because maybe their skin just stopped working, right? It's like, because people, when they get old, they lose their hearing, they lose their hair sight. They don't heal as quick. They just don't, right? What we found is there was no correlation. The more wrinkles you had when you were older, the more you lose. It just correlates to how much you use and how consistent you are with the laser. So this is cool stuff. And now this is probably too much technology for tonight. But anyway, we got one daughter of a dermatologist. They can say they looked at slides there. Yeah. All right. So these are stained punch biopsy slides of a study we did, which is very cool. It was in the back of the lower back, okay, of your skin. So it wasn't on their face. Don't worry. We didn't maim anybody in this study. And we basically had a control with no laser. We had the NIRA laser, and then we had the fractional laser. And notice the fractional, that it punches through. So you can see a lot of damage through here and punching through here. And with here, it all looks like, a brick wall. You get those rectangular bricks that look nice and flat and long. And that's what this looks like. And then these dark are fibroblasts that have activated after 9 days, only 9 days of using NIRA. And then these are some damaged cells. There's some activated collagen here. But what the stain sample showed to an expert reviewer was more collagen with the NIRA compared to fractional, maintained cellular structure, that brick layer that you want, and none of the side effects. No pain, no cellular damage, no erythema, no collateral damage, and no downtime, right? So this is huge. This means you can have your cake and eat it too. Basically, you can get skin rejuvenation and not have the pain, not have the downtime. And I hear this saying, do you ever hear the saying, like beauty is pain or pain is beauty? I see some shaking their heads. It doesn't have to be that way, right? There is a way to do it. Just like you can have a supercomputer in your hand with your cell phone. We can have, the best in class laser technology come to the home in an easy way that we can all use and actually enjoy, like your cell phones, and get great results, right? Get the job done. If you look at NIRA compared to all the other technologies, right? The fractional technology, both of these are best in class, but you can see NIRA, rightly so, and honestly, checks all the boxes without side effects and fast treatment time. This is important for people treating themselves. It's a big deal. And everything else has a detractor or lower efficacy or both. Almost all of them have both. Thank you for all your awards. I met many people in here that were part of that. So this is wonderful. And I was telling some folks from Cosmopolitan and others that, growing up, this was the magazine to have. Maybe before your time when magazines were hot. And I just wish that the teenage girls could see me now, right? So anyway, this is, we're humbled by this, really, because we know you guys spent, and these Pericles spent some real time evaluating our laser and giving it an honest review. And that's all we asked for. What's next? Okay, we want to really make this mass market. We started in 2020 with the Precision. And I love this little guy. And you can treat it on your eyes, and it does anti-aging really well. 2 minutes a day. But it took 30 minutes to do your whole face. And we said, well, that's too long. No one's going to spend 30 minutes every day treating their face. So we didn't even advertise it that you can do full face with the NIRA. But what we did do is we developed the NIRA Pro in 2023. And in 3 minutes, you can treat your whole face. So it's literally 1/10 the amount of the Precision to the Pro. This was huge. Now people are treating their whole face, and as I mentioned earlier, they're treating their neck, their chest, their hands, which is great. And it's legitimate. FDA cleared us for all skin types, all the way up to Fitzpatrick 6, which is the darkest skin tone, down to Fitzpatrick 1, as safe and effective. And the reason is we're not absorbed in melanin at all. Right? So it's just absorbed in water, and it's very specific to the dermis, unlike the RF we talked about, which isn't specific. Fast forward, I am pleased to announce we have a new product that's launching just this past week, 2025. You guys are the first to experience it, literally, okay? And this takes the 3 minutes down to 2 minutes for your full face. Now, that might not seem like a lot. It's 35% faster. But imagine if you're driving a car at 65 miles per hour, or your significant other, and then they step on the gas and get you up to 100, and you're going 100. That's the difference between 3 minutes and 2 minutes in proportional speed. So it makes a difference. When you can zip through, you feel like you're moving a lot faster, you like it better. It's a really good user experience. And 2 minutes a day is not a lot. And we've actually tested that. Cindy's down to like
Minute and 51 seconds.
Minute 51 over here. So let's take a closer look.
Experience the next generation of at-home skincare with the NIRA Pro Plus, a breakthrough in precision and performance. Built for efficiency, its cutting-edge processor enhances performance and reliability, while a long-lasting battery and fast USB-C charging keep you powered whenever you need it. Every detail is engineered for results, from high-quality optics and thermal management to a proprietary laser system that delivers professional-grade performance at home. Thoughtfully designed, compact, and easy to use, the laser fits seamlessly into your routine, wherever you are. Smarter, faster, and more powerful. Unlock the power of professional skincare at home with the NIRA Pro Plus.
So that's our Pro Plus. It is 50% more powerful, literally 3 watts, constant wave compared to 2 watts for the Pro, 35% faster, more connected, more upgradable, and more reliable and portable just like the others. So this app, I encourage everyone to try it. We have in-app gamification where you can win awards. We literally send you free gifts if you hit certain milestones. It tracks your progress. It syncs with Bluetooth. So you always get the latest firmware, the latest hardware updates. So you can take with your cell phone, you take pictures of yourself and compare one time to the other in your progress. So I'm proud to say this is made right here in the USA. You see a high degree of automation. We have clean rooms. We have robots. And we're very proud to make this right here in the US of A. We just started up our new factory in New Hampshire a few months ago. And if you're ever in the area, give us a call. We're happy to give you a tour. Okay, today we're focused on anti-aging. And I think with your help to get the word out, we can revolutionize anti-aging, but it doesn't stop there. In a year, we're going to come back. Hopefully we can host you again and tell you about our hair removal device. We want best-in-class hair removal, okay? That's way better than what's out there with IPL and flash lamps and things like that. We're talking clinical grade hair removal, but with a great user experience. You got to have both. And then we're going to move on to what's really exciting, skin disease, starting with acne, okay? We've already got clinical studies mapped out for acne, and then we'll move on to other skin diseases that are very common and frankly have not great alternatives for people to improve their confidence and their skin health. Really, it's really a lifestyle thing. It's time to make over this industry, just like we have with computers and smartphones that have transformed our lives. Let's transform people's skincare lives. And that's who we are. We're NIRA. Thank you.